Okay, what I'm going to be working on now is a pressure washer. I've got a gas-powered pressure washer. I've had it a long time. Last year, right at the end of the season, I was using it and it quit working right. Um, the gas motor was working fine, but it just wasn't developing the pressure, so it's obvious there that it's some problem in the pump. So we're going to take a look at that now and see if we can figure out what we got to do to fix that pump in that pressure washer. Here's my actual pressure washer we're going to be working on. I've had it for a long time. It's got a 5 horsepower Honda engine on it, and it's a 2600 psi. I think I got it at Home Depot many years ago. All right, so obviously this is the engine. The pump is underneath this plastic cover, and there must be a drive shaft right in there. So the first thing we're going to do is take this plastic cover off and take a look. So there's looks like a hex head screw right there, and there's one just like it on the other end. But if you look at this, just taking those out won't let you lift that off. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to unscrew these two things to be able to get that plastic cover off. So there's nowhere to get a wrench on the outside of this one, but if you look inside, there's a hex on the opening, so that's how we'll get that one out. Okay, here we go. I set this thing up on a couple of sawhorses so it was easier to work on. Got that plastic cover off, and look at this. This is definitely not a good sign right here. What it looks like on this thing is there is down in here, you can see there's some parts broken. This is an older style pump, so you can't get this exact replacement or even parts for this thing. So it looks like our approach on this may be to just replace this pump with a new one. So what we'll do is we'll just take this pump off because we want to make sure we get the right bolt pattern and the right shaft size for the replacement. Up underneath there's you can see this hose goes down through here. It just goes over here, and it looks like it's just held in with a little rubber grommet of some kind. Okay, let's get that hose loose. great. Sometimes impact drivers would just rip stuff apart great when you can't get it off by hand. All right, so we're 875, so 0.875, which is 7/8 of an inch. It can be difficult to measure hole spacings, so sometimes it's easier to put a couple of the bolts back in, and then measure across these flats. Like that. So in this case, we're getting 3.035, and then we'll measure the width of one of these, which is 0.5. So 3.035 minus 0.5, that's 2.5 inches within 30 thousandths or so. And we got the same in this direction. So it's 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches on that bolt, on this bolt pattern. So before I go spending money on a brand new pump for this, it's been a year since this thing run. Let's just make sure that this engine's even still good. Engine works great. All that vibration started unscrewing these bolts. That's kind of funny. So I think this thing is worth investing in another pump instead of just buying a whole new pressure washer. So let's see what we can find. Okay, doing a little research for this pressure washer project. This is my Model X R2600, and I did find on this website an exploded view that actually shows the pump that I've got, and the piece that I would need would be number 13 here. 13 is the radial ring assembly. This thing here, it's all broken. Some of these other pieces nearby, like 28, might be messed up too on mine. You'll notice down here parts with no number, and these are no longer available, so it's 13 is not available. So I did find this, amazingly though, on eBay. This is that radial ring for Excel DeVilbiss pressure washer. $46. I don't think this is the right thing to do, because for that price, or maybe even less, I can replace the whole pump. So I did look a little bit on at this is on eBay. This listing was interesting because this shows this new pump, and then over here to the right it shows the original pump. So this is what I've got right here, and it's kind of saying, hey, you know, replace it with this. So look at this picture. Replaces horizontal pumps that look like the one below. So this is what I've got, with that middle piece is all broken. I did some searches on Google Shopping, and it's on Amazon actually for $84. Okay, so here's the new pump, and I checked the bolt pattern. Bolt pattern is good. It lines up fine with the pressure washer motor and everything. So our inlet is this garden hose fitting, which is good. Our outlet, though, is this oddball fitting here. So this thing looks like it's going to measure about 650 thousandths on the major diameter, and how well you can see that, it's definitely not a tapered thread though. So the old fitting that was on there measures about 675, and as you can see here is tapered, so it's close, right? So I mean, you can put these next to each other and they're awfully close. Wow, honestly, it goes in, and this female thread in here is straight thread, and this fitting is tapered, but it actually feels like it's pretty good. It might, with some Teflon tape or some thread sealant, it probably would seal on its own. So if we take a look at the actual thread pitch, it's a real good match. So this is a 3/8 NPT pipe tap. I just got it clamped on some vice grips because I don't have a tap handle. And this is that hole here that was straight threads. We're just going to run this in there a little bit and taper those threads some. So what I always do in a case like this is take a little bit of grease and smear on the tap. So that way any of the chips that are cut don't end up down in the hole where we don't want them. This is really going easy because, like I said, the threads are already there. We're just putting a little taper on them. Whenever you're tapping, you want to go forward a little bit and then back some. That'll break the chips loose. And I think that's going to be plenty. So yeah, that's what all material we removed to chase those threads into tapered. So I'm just going to take my air hose and blow a little bit of air down into here. So here's our new fitting. I bought new fittings instead of reusing the old ones. So here's our new quick connect. Something I don't know if I've shown on any of my videos yet is how I do Teflon tape. So I always pull it from underneath. Let's get a clean break to start with. I always pull it from underneath, and you always want to wrap the tape as if you're tightening the fitting. So you see how I'm doing this. And like I said, I always pull it from underneath the roll like that. And you want to have, I don't know, I think the general rule here is you want to have 3 wraps. I don't go to a lot of trouble to count them because I've done this for so long. I can just do it by feel. And then you can just pull on it, like press up tight while you're pulling on it, and pull it right off. Now you got your Teflon tape applied to your fitting. And I've done this a zillion times, so I'm just kind of used to doing it that way. I thought I'd show you. That went in pretty deep hand tight, which means we probably went a little deeper with the tap than we should have. But it feels like it's tightening up now. So you'll notice on the end of our pump here, we've got this little slot that's called a keyway. And the shaft will have the same thing. And then this pump came with this little piece of steel, which was referred to as a key. So that key slips into that slot. kind of like that, and causes this to engage the shaft on the pump. Here we are in the motor, and you'll see there's on the drive shaft, you'll see a keyway, just like we saw on the pump. We just got to be sure and line those two up. All right, so with our key in here, we're going to just line that up. All right, perfect. I've hooked this up to my garden hose, and I was just going to turn it on and kind of let it flush out with water first. So something I did, which is a good idea because I wanted to put a new quick connect fitting on there, is I actually found online where I could buy a set of 4, which gave me enough to replace the fittings on my hose too. So both ends of my hose I put new fittings, as well as I put a new fitting on my wand. So anyway, they've got a nice little kit where pretty much you get 4 fittings, 2 with male threads, 2 with female threads, that lets you just replace all of them on your pressure washer. And I forgot how nice fittings are supposed to go together. My old ones were so bad and wore out. Wow, I should have done that a long time ago. Okay, finished running the test run, and looks like it did great. What I was doing here, just to let you know, this is a like pressure relief valve. So this is where you set a pressure setting. From reading the instructions on this, tightening clockwise increases pressure, and counterclockwise loosening decreases pressure, and then this is a lock nut to hold it in place. And I think the idea here is, according to the instructions that came with the pump, is that if the pump is stalling your motor, then you need to reduce the pressure some. So what I did is, I was going to increase the pressure until it stalled, and it actually never stalled, the 5 horsepower motor here. So it is set, as far in as it'll go. The threads ran out. This is as tight as this thing will go in, and it just stopped. So it's the max pressure this pump will give. When I was looking at these online, there were some higher pressure pumps. Maybe I should have bought a higher pressure one and then, actually tightened it in to the point to where it did stall the engine, and then I may get a little bit more pressure. But this thing seemed to work great. It produced a ton of pressure. No problem so far. Pretty easy project, except for the tapping of this right here. That was a little tricky, and you might need to order a tool to do that. Okay guys, thanks for watching my video on installing a new pump on my gas powered pressure washer. It was not that difficult. It just took a little bit of time. I had to order some pieces. All in all, I think I paid $80 or so, $85 for the pump from Amazon.com. And then I paid $10 for that set of 4 fittings, quick connect fittings. 1 went on the pump, the other 3 went on my hose and my wand. So thanks for watching guys, appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.